The racing with the Corvette is now done. And now we are going to move on to our next car in line for our next spot on the blacklist, which will be this. The Dodge Viper SRT10. And yes, if you may have noticed by the way the tuning looks, you will probably notice it looks quite similar to the Dodge Viper ACR, if you know your Vipers. Anyway, let's go and get our number fitted to this thing and whatever upgrades this thing might not have. This is very much becoming a reoccurring trend, where we seemingly pop out of the same safe house and we continue to head up to the shop to change a few things. That's why I do what I do. So parts-wise, I don't think we really need to change anything, except for maybe the nitrous. I have established that a lot of these upgrades are pre-fitted anyway, so we're okay from that side. And everything else in terms of just the overall performance, well, we pretty much have everything else maximized. Okay, that's now done. And now let's get our number fitted to this thing. Number 24 strikes again. Okay, let's now go racing with the Dodge Viper. And we're 2 of these next 6 events are going to make it inevitable to say that we will encounter cops. So back to the safe house, just in case. And we will get through the maximum cop probability events first. As we have got a toll booth event, as well as a speed trap event. We've done 6 of these so far, so now we have to get through the other 6, as we begin with the speed trap. Okay, here we go. So for this one, we've got a Lamborghini Gallardo Mazda RX-7 and an Aston Martin DB9. And once again, nailing it on the launch. And I think it's fair to say that acceleration-wise, we have picked a good car. However, what we've also come to establish is cops are going to show up, sooner rather than later. Yeah, performance tuning on this thing, it had to be done. There is no other way I was going to get through this without putting on performance tuning. It just needed to happen. Even then if I do wind up being slow initially. But whatever. I've got the tuning on now, so hopefully if it's possible, the traffic will manage to not hurt me as much. And this time it does not seem to be doing that. It does not seem to be doing that, to me at least. And we've got more cops. Oh boy.
Check it out, I'm 10-6.
Yeah, if you think you're gonna ruin my race, you better think again. The traffic is already ruining my race anyway. That's basically the traffic strapping on the cops. Okay. Fuck you.
The code 6 suspect was last seen southbound on Campus Circle. 10-block radius on a quadrant has been authorized by supervisor.
Dispatch!
Fuck off.
You ran me on. Not sure I can continue pursuit. Repeat, not sure I can continue. 38 out here, dispatch. Our suspect's just 1042 in a Civic car.
That's a really bad place to put a speed trap. Just right there on the corner exit. That's honestly the worst possible place you can put a speed trap. Really is. And I fuck myself again, because I forgot to lift. I should have lifted for that corner. But it doesn't seem to matter, because I am still leading. Even though I am having to do this with smoking cops, with cops just basically smoking on my tail. And yes, to put it simply, that is a reference to I have smokies on my tail. Which is basically what it is. But whatever, I don't care because I am leading the race. And I also have to make sure that if a pursuit breaker is nearby me, it's there to be used. Figured I might as well get some bounty on the Viper whilst I was at it. Because I figured, why the hell not? And one sector split to go. I go through there at 202. I think that should give me the win, from what I know. Oh, and one of us has been busted.
Okay, I lost him. I need a quadrant set up here, dispatch. So let's see if we can get him to go to ground.
Okay.
Advised, suspect was last seen eastbound past Hickley Field. Containment is to include immediate area and everything west.
I don't think that's going to be the last of it.
Wait up for further info.
Okay. And we got no cops on our tail, so I think we should be good. Okay. We are done. And apparently Chung got busted in the end of that one, as I won in the end by 300 in the Viper. Then Chung finished in second, High Roller third, and it was Chopper who finished in fourth. As High Roller's highest speed was 215, my highest speed was 202, and the highest speed of Chopper was only 139. Well done. Okay, can I get to a cooldown spot? Would be really nice if I could. Come on, make it, make it, make it, make it, make it, make it. Okay, we made it. Even though the pursuit barely lasted that long. But whatever, we made it. And we also broke off pursuit mid-race, which is even better. And we also get 140,000 bounty points as a result of us evading a pursuit that began during the race and basically ended during the race. So there we go. Speed Trap Race is done. And that is our first milestone achievement as well. I did not think I was going to absolutely blow my opponents out the water after that. That honestly was not expected coming from me. Really wasn't. But anyway. Saving the game so I don't have to go through that maximum cop probability event again. I have got to be smart about this because by the time we get down to the milestone events, those cops are going to be some pretty tough sons of bitches to stop. if I do say so myself. And I don't think I'm going to get quite as lucky with the Petersburg projects. Anyway, let's go and do it. And so, here we go. With Petersburg projects. I have amped up both the nitrous and my supercharger, just in case. And if I have to amp those up again, then I will. And through the first one, I go with a pretty decent speed, if I do say so myself. As I'm now up in the air, and I almost ran into that truck.
I need a unit to clear and start up.
And that's a wall. And cops are going to show up, it's inevitable. And that's a wall. I know that's not really established as a shortcut, but whatever. And through this corner, are we going to make the toll booth? Yes, we do. With 6 seconds to spare. Cutting it fine by toll booth standards, but still able to at least keep myself in the thick of it. And we have got cops. Unsurprisingly, we have cops. Anyway, here we go. And using the pursuit breaker to break off the pursuit. However, this is not done yet. And not going to get to that pursuit breaker. Probably wouldn't have been worth it either, in my opinion, but that's by the by. And I'm in the wall. Can I get moving again? Yes, I can. I did a 360 whilst I was stationary, but I did manage to get the car moving again. That's all I care about. And yep. Okay. I should have hit that pursuit breaker. Even though it probably wouldn't have worked, I still think I should have hit it. But whatever, it's fine. We're still moving. We have not given up yet. We have not been stopped yet. We are still moving. As we are halfway there with the pursuit breakers. Okay. We're heading past the stadium and through our fourth toll booth now, and looks as though at this point we are doing good. And it might be possible for me to actually lose the cops again before too long. Although I don't think that's going to be the last of it. No, it isn't. And that's a wall. Can I at least get through the pursuit breaker? Yes, I can. Okay. But that is not enough to stop him, unfortunately. Although that might be enough to stop him. However, this pursuit is not finished yet. Damn it. Okay. Can I use this pursuit breaker? Does that work? I don't think it does. Well, it was worth a try. I'm gonna go around the outside here. See what that does.
I'm trying to catch up here.
Okay. And that's the end of the other event where we are at maximum cop probabilities, as we finish that with 15.8 seconds to spare. Now I need to look for a pursuit breaker. Whichever one I can get to first. That's not the police station. Because I'm convinced in saying that'll be another trap. Okay. And nope, none of them were stopped by that one.
Dispatch is 1050 on Steel Code 3.
Unfortunate. And that's my first infraction.
Advise we pull back.
And now I need to figure out how to escape them. If I can. If I can try to escape him, that is. Oh, that's the donut stand. Okay, we got it done. Hopefully that slowed him down just a little bit. Now, I gotta head for the stadium. The stadium is probably my next best spot. That's where I'll head. Okay, so heading through the stadium. And is that going to be enough? Just tiptoe my way through. And never mind. I am going to shut my mouth. Okay, I should have stayed stationary. Fortunately, I did get the... Fortunately, I did get the pursuit breaker done, where I had to get a less than 2 minutes. Fortunately, however, I did get the pursuit marker where I needed to get it done in less than 2 minutes. And now I need to escape. If I can. That's if I can.
10-block radius on a quadrant has been authorized by supervisor. Details will be provided on your screen.
I need to run.
This is Bravo 27. We've got a 1043 between us and our target quadrant. We will advise on progress.
Okay.
Gotta keep moving. Trying to avoid a roadblock. Code 3.
Can I move away? Come on. There we go. Okay, we got it done. Took a little longer than it should have done, but I did manage to flee the area. I think if I would have stayed in the parking lot, I probably would have escaped, but well, I noticed the cooldown spot was there, but then unfortunately the cops were also there. So, it's fine. We got through the eye of the storm at least, regarding the race events, even though we will still have to get through the milestone events that will no doubt build up our bounty. Anyway, let's go. Okay, and now we have the other minimum cop probability events to get through, as our next one is another toll booth, as we are heading to Wharf and North Bay. So we still have another 4 race events to do, and then we should be okay. So gonna head straight through here, because why not? hard on the brakes as I head through the fairground and also the boardwalk, heading past the Ferris wheel. And it looks as though we are doing pretty much everything we're supposed to be. And of course, taken the hospital because why not? My car is slightly sideways and it failed. Can I at least get moving again? Come on, move it. Okay, we're moving. Well, it went well until it suddenly didn't go well. That's the only thing I really have in response. Just have to make sure I floor it for the rest of this. Okay. Can I actually get through this without encountering too much traffic? Somehow I can. And I have got more than enough time to reach the next toll booth. So, we'll see how we go. As I almost hit a pursuit breaker in the process with that yacht. We are keeping ourselves moving. And it looks as though the speed will continue to be impressive. As I head over the jump. I'm also pretty sure this Viper ironically has the same rims that I put on my Corvette. I'm pretty sure that's what these rims are. But either way, we are doing good. And now, all we have to do is get through the rest of these, as I make it with 10 seconds to spare in Toll Booth Sector 3. And now there is just one remaining. So, got one more Toll Booth Sector split to go. And then we'll be done. I hope. And yes, we are done. With 13.8 seconds to spare, we have made our fourth and final toll booth. And in the end of that, we set a top speed of 177. Nice.
Coastal District, be advised.
Okay. We are good. And now, all we have to do is get through the other 3 events, is it, that we have? Let's see, 1, 2... Oh, okay, I guess it must just be 2 events. Okay, my mistake. So we've got a sprint race, Seagate and Camden, and then we've got a circuit race, Omega, and Industries. And we've done the rest. Okay, on to Seagate and Camden. So for this one, we've got a Mazda RX-7, a Porsche Cayman, and a Mercedes SL55, I think. Either that or it's the CLK 500. Unless the CLK 500 is the only. Oh, getting a bump there by the Mazda. Street Legal, apparently is his name. And then we've got Rusty in third with Smoothie. That's actually a really funny name. In fourth. Someone literally being nicknamed Smoothie. I think that's actually really funny, personally. Even though I'm not laughing, but whatever. Point is, I at least think it's funny. If you get the joke. Come on. And I do not get given a push. The toll booth sector splits do not shine in my favour. But that's okay, because I am still in this with a fighting shot. And right when that happens, I run into a cement truck. And right before it gets any worse, I hit the reset button. Just to summarise what I did. Anyway. Rusty is now up to second, with Street Legal third, and Smoothie, that's actually a pretty funny name, is still fourth. Kind of like the names you see in the British Touring Car Championship. They actually have some pretty intriguing names if you think about it. And somewhat comedic names as well, in some instances. Because they're funny, and also because they're catchy. Okay. And the Mazda is now up in the lead. We still have plenty of time to make up what we've lost. We are at the 60+% mark now. We're closing in on the 3/4 distance, and we'll probably pass that in a few seconds. And there it is. Past 75% now. And we moving along nicely, as I now have a 4-second gap up at the top, which means we are doing okay for now, as long as we can continue to do this. So we're moving along nicely. And we're pretty much pulling away from Street Legal and Smoothie. And I crossed the line at 200, winning 18,000. Street Legal finished in second, then it was Smoothie third, and Rusty finished in fourth. Presumably he must have racked late on in that FD. Anyway, before the cops show up, I will head back to the lab, as all we have left is a circuit race, and oh boy, this is going to be a long one, as we have got 4 laps around Omega and Industries. Well, we might as well get through it, because why the fuck not? Okay, let's go. So we got ourselves a Golf GTI, a Ford Mustang GT, and ironically, a Ford GT. Dodge versus VW versus Pony Car versus GT Supercar, basically. It's always right there at the end, where the race just has to suddenly snatch it from me. That's quite literally what it does. It just simply has to snatch it away from me. Right when it feels like everything is done, you then eventually discover that the race itself is basically far from done. And yes, resetting the game, or resetting my car at least. Yeah, resetting my car, that was entirely necessary. Or else I would have had to reverse and lose more time than what I already lost. So I think it's fair to say it's going to be a battle of Ford versus Chrysler here. Or, if we're being more specific, it's a battle of Ford versus Stellantis, which is technically the company that owns Chrysler and the many brands they own. That, by the way, does include Dodge, from what I know with an unofficial source. At least I think Chrysler is owned by the Stellantis group. They own their fair share of car brands, and that does include Fiat as well, who were the previous owners of Chrysler before they too got bought out by the Stellantis group. Yeah, it might just be easier if I be patient with this, because last time I took it too soon, the traffic just snatched it from me. Although I would have finished, the truth is, my head just didn't really feel like wanting to cross the finish line. I would have accepted the L, but the truth is, I think there's probably too much at stake for that to be the case now. Plus, I think it's fair to say, out of all the races I have done up to this point, this one seems like it will be the most competitive, as Thurston attempts to do a sideswipe, and now it's Nielsen who moves up into second position. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if his character is named after the actor Leslie Nielsen, who I should mention was a great actor. And whenever a lot of people do think of Leslie Nielsen, they either think of him for the 6-episode Police Squad series, or they simply think of him for the 2 Aeroplane films and or the Naked Gun trilogy. Whenever a lot of people think of Leslie Nielsen. At least it wouldn't surprise me if that's who his character is named after. I have the advantage now. The other 2 are further back. However, this is an endurance, and I know the AI, when it comes to these longer races, they can fight back. But it's okay, because we still have time. I know rubber banding is not as weak in some of these race events as you think it might be. But I wouldn't be surprised, of course, if that Ford GT does decide to come back. Knowing me at least, he probably will. But either way, I can definitely say this race has been interesting, because there have definitely been comers and goers for this race, pretty much in its entirety, in spite of the obvious scoring errors that I seem to be noticing. Yeah, there is definitely the scoring error glitch that I seem to be noticing in a few places. Although I think that's only really a minor flaw. It probably doesn't matter that much to a lot of people, but I figured you know. There are certain open world racing games where the scoring error bug can be present, but I don't think it really matters. So it looks as though Thurston is now looking to try and take back second place from Nielsen, as the two of them are very much going tooth and nail at one another right now. We still have another lap to go here at Omega and Industries. This race is far from over, and there have definitely been comers and goers, if I do say so myself. And I really have got to make sure that whatever mistakes I make, I do not make too many of them on the last lap. Because that could mean the difference between winning and losing in this race. And this time it's Alice who comes through to lead the race. So I think that definitely tells me this race has had plenty of comers and goers. And I think it's fair to say that whilst I have been leading this race most of the time, it's been far from a foregone conclusion to say that I will actually pull this off, when I know that I won't. But anyway, and yeah, that's a taxi. And I keep myself in contention as I run into the back of a pedestrian car, and I get a bump from behind. I think that was Alice attempting a bump and run there, but she was not going to be successful. I'm pretty sure that Alice is not really a guy's name. Although there is Alice Cooper, but whatever. Thurston is now back in the battle once again. He's back in the battle, and he is not looking like he will hit the sack. As Thurston takes the shortcut and uses it to his advantage, and he wrecks. That now puts me back out in front, and I really need to make sure that for the rest of this, I do not wind up being in the forefront of something potentially nuclear. If this is how the race is going to end, I need to make sure I stay out of striking distance if I do fumble again. And hitting a station wagon, but that's okay because I still win, in spite of me crashing right at the end. Ironically, like Davey Allison at the 1992 All-Star race, I win, but I crash at the same time. Winning in the end by 3.67 seconds over Nielsen, then Thurston finished in third, and it was Alice in fourth. So the Viper wins, Ford Mustang second, Ford GT third, and it was the VW Golf finishing P4.
District 2 be advised.
Okay. That's now our last race of Blacklist 3 done. And now, I think I'm going to call it a day, as we are now 79% complete with the game. So, we're making some good progress now, as we're now, I think, 10% up compared to when we started earlier today. I think we were on 69% before, and now I'm pretty sure we've moved up by another 10%. So, that's actually pretty good. And already, the Viper is up to level 2 on the heat. And so, the races for Blacklist 3 are now done. Oh, yeah, there's still the knockout race. Okay, well, we're almost done. College Switchback is our final race of Blacklist 3. So for this one, we've got a Lamborghini Murcielago with a Fiat Punto and a Mazda RX-8 for our final race of Blacklist 3. Are we actually going to get this done this time? So we are at College Switchback, and then once we are done with this, I think on the recording side, it'll probably be a good time for me to call it a day. Because I have been at this now for a while, and also because, well, I think after this I'll probably be up to, 80% completion? So to put it simply, yeah, we are definitely going to be in the beginning of the end once we are finished here. This will definitely be the beginning of the end, from what I can see. And my top speed in the end was 202. And I have now got the advantage. So, Thrust, Melvin, and Snap are... Mervin. Thrust, Mervin, and Snap are our 3 remaining opponents. Snap has now been KO'd. So that now leaves me and the 2 guys I just mentioned. And so far, so good. We are doing pretty good in terms of our running position. So we continue to run. And hitting the back of a minivan. Okay. Still running good, and on the brakes once again. Looks like it's probably going to be me and the Lamborghini. Mervin is now out, so that means it's probably just me and the Lamborghini left over. And yep, I think that is the Lamborghini I see there. Just had to let go of the throttle to be sure, but yeah. I am pretty sure that is definitely the Lamborghini I see there. It is now behind me. Okay. And still keeping myself ahead of the Lambo at this point. And here's to hoping we can keep it that way. Okay. And so we continue to lead here at College Switchbacks. And it looks as though, providing I do not hit anything directly ahead, this should pretty much be my race to lose, the way I see things. As I set a new top speed of 209 down the stretch, and just like that, we are done with the Blacklist 3 races. I was literally thinking to myself, I may have missed one somewhere, and then once I discovered the knockout race, well, there it was. And no one else even came close to me in terms of top speed. Thrust was the second fastest with top speed 178. Oh, Snap was the second fastest actually with 181. Thrust was third, I think he was in the Lamborghini, and Mervyn was the one in... What opponents do we have again? Oh yeah, we also had the Mazda RX-8 and the Fiat Punto. I think Mervyn was the one in the Punto, and I'm going to assume Snap must have been the one in the RX-8. I think that's right. Anyways, we're done, and right before cops show up, we will go back to the lab. And so, after I made my misnomer before, we are officially done with the Blacklist 3 races. And we also have the minimum bounty required in order to race Ronnie as well, because of the pursuits we have recently done. So, we made some pretty good progress today, as we're now up to 79%, we have over 6 million bounty points and 808,000 cash points, if you will. Anyway. Next up, we have the milestone events. And oh boy, are most of these going to be interesting. But we will see it through, as we so often do. And so, that's now done. And I think I'm going to call it a day on my progress. Made some good progress today as we have scored another 10% with our antics. But anyway, there we go. So, next time on Need for Speed Most Wanted, taking down Ronnie. Stay tuned.